you have any kind of level of certainty that you could go and get Chris later on? What was that like?
You know, no, we didn't. We hoped we could. It was really close day between those two guys with the fourth pick. We went back and forth on it. They're both tremendous young players. It's really hard to find talented young big guys, and they're completely different. You know, Dragon's has the size and the length, the passing ability, and the ability to move his feet on the perimeter that is rare and unique. And you know, a couple years ago, coming out of the under 18 European Championships, I think he was 17 years old at the time. He was considered potentially the #1 pick in this draft. So you know, we really liked what we saw with him. And then Marquise Chris, my goodness, you know, just an explosive athlete, you know, vertical athlete. You know, came onto the game late. He was a football player, then got injured, took up basketball late. But you know, those two guys, we went back and forth and deliberated, and it was split almost right down the middle among our staff, among the front office staff, and the coaching staff, ownership. You know, we're all going back and forth for weeks now. And then today, you know, earlier today, we said, well, what if we can get both? I don't know, it seemed unlikely given where we had them rated. But we just came up with a concept and tried to get picks behind us, you know, starting at 5, 6, 7, and then Sacramento at 8. Liked what we had to offer, and we were ecstatic when Marquise was still there, because as I mentioned, he and Dragon were neck and neck the whole time.
How long had that trade, had you been talking to Sacramento before you pulled that off?
Yeah, well, we talked to Sacramento over the past few weeks just about other concepts to get the 8th pick, just because we had 8 players that we were really comfortable with. Understandably, they didn't want to pull the trigger in advance, like most teams. They wanted to see who was going to be there potentially. And then, you know, when Marquise, you know, went past the 5th and 6th and 7th team, I mean, we upped our offer. You know, we were aggressive. You know, we wanted him. Obviously, we gave up some, you know, pretty good assets to get him. But he's a unique player, a unique talent. And you know, the thing we like about those two guys is, again, they're completely different. You know, I think both probably primarily power forwards, but I could see either one of them playing 3 through 5. And I know that might seem like a stretch to some, but you know, those guys' ball skills and their ability to move their feet on the perimeter, their length, their athletic ability, their size, they're really versatile players, and we're ecstatic to have both.
Both of them are, the guys are 18 years old. How far are they away from being so-called NBA ready? Significant contract.
Yeah, I think they're a ways away, Bob. You know, I'll be honest with you. I mean, so take Dragan Bender, for example. He's 18. He's the youngest player in this year's draft. He's younger than Devin Booker was a year ago, was the youngest player in last year's draft. And if he were born 6 weeks later, he would not be eligible for this year's draft. That's how young he is. You know, so he's a high school senior. So if you look at him like a high school senior, he's 7'1" barefoot. He's got a 9'3" standing reach. He shoots 36, 37% from 3. You know, his idol, his role model is Tony Kukoc. You didn't see a lot of that Maccabi, but if you watched him at the Croatian junior level, you saw some of that passing, some of that magic feel he had with the ball. So he's a special player. And again, you know, Marquise Chris, you know, if you watched his progression throughout the year, he struggled some early in the year, especially with foul trouble. He just kept getting better and better and better, and then you know, went from, you know, having a decent game every second or third game at the beginning of the year to at the end of the year, he was playing pretty well almost every night and making some spectacular plays that not many guys in the NBA level can make. And you could just see the improvement and the growth throughout the year. So again, we're elated to have both those guys. I also should mention we just drafted Tyler Ulis from Kentucky in the 2nd round with the 34th pick. I felt it had been too long since we drafted a Kentucky guard. I'm joking. But no, he was, you know, Tyler was, I believe, the SEC Player of the Year and the Defensive Player of the Year. You know, obviously he's small, right? And you know, size and height and length and all that sell in the draft. But he's tough and he's smart and he's a winner, and we're excited to have him as well.
Earl, what goes through your mind when you see what you have now and the potential of these two top picks?
Very, honestly, just very lucky. Like, Ron is being modest. he and his staff got it done. Like, to sit there and see it, and it's kind of like, I guess in this situation, we kind of reverse roles. He watched me coach, I watch him do his thing as well, and implement things and draft and make calls and under pressure, and the minutes are short. They got it done. Let's be honest with you. We're lucky to have the guys that we have. Marquise, Bender, Tyler are all unique players. Even Tyler's unique for his size. Marquise and Bender, they can do things that I haven't seen a lot of players do in the NBA in a long time. So to get this draft process started, for Ryan to execute it and his staff to execute the vision, for me, I'm just lucky as a coach to have the opportunity to have a front office that actually gets it done.
Ryan, he said that you got it done, but these guys that we talked to on the phone, Marquise and Robbie, things they kept bringing up and impressed them about the team was Earl's impact and how he paid attention to not just his athletes but his people. How big was he in the draft, the pre-draft process?
Well, it's huge. It's huge. We brought all three of those guys into Phoenix, and part of the reason for that is, we want to show them what we're doing, or what we're trying to do here in terms of, trying to build a culture, trying to add like-minded young players. As you guys know, we've had some struggles the past year and a half. I feel really good about not only the young talent on our team, but the character of the guys. And we had a number of, not just these three guys, but a number of players and their agents calling us, reaching out to us, texting us, saying, we want to be in Phoenix. We like what you're doing. And we said, really, we think your guy would be hired. Wouldn't it be sacrificed financially, whatever, if he got to us at, 4th pick, 13th pick, 28th pick. They said, we don't care. We like it. We like your situation. We like your coach. We love your coach. We love the way he connects with the young players. He motivates them. He inspires them. We saw what he did with Devin Booker. We saw what he did with Alex Len. And we want our guys in Phoenix. So that's powerful. The agents have a lot of control in the process, more so now than ever. So for us to get just about everybody we wanted to get in, and have agents calling us and saying, he wants to be in Phoenix, this guy, that guy. Again, that's powerful, and we feel like it gives us an advantage, because not every team has that. There's certain teams in the league that agents don't let players go work out for, or they don't send the medical physicals to. With us, in the position we're in, it's the opposite. They're calling us saying, please, my guy wants to be in Phoenix, you're his #1 choice. How do we get there?
Earl, both those guys are listed as power forwards. Ryan had mentioned that they go 3 to 5. Is there one guy that you see his skill set more as a 3-4 in the future and one as a 4-5?
I think the positive is both guys can shoot threes. Off pin downs, off the move, they can handle. Both guys can switch pick and rolls at any time. Bender, to me, has a great opportunity to play on the perimeter. He can handle the ball really well, and he's open to growing. That's always a positive. Marquise is really unique. He's a guy that can play above the square, literally. Like, the way he jumps and catches fouls above the backboard is just amazing. And the way he has a finesse shot at the elbows is unique. He reminded me a lot of LaMarcus, just speaking to him, his personality, the way he carries himself. And Bender, he's going to be a unique player. He's going to be great within his own. And Tyler, I think Devin Booker's more happy than anyone.
Earl, how do you get ready to use some of these guys?
Last year I thought Devin was NBA ready in summer league. So my vision is always a little bit different. My vision is very high. Expectations are really high. It's all about the process and selling them to believe in themselves and walking them along the way and nurturing them along the way and teaching them along the way. So I think the unique thing is we have great character kids or young men coming into this program. Another positive is that they have unique skills that is, to me, NBA ready right now, such as Bender, his ability to play within pick and roll, and to handle the ball in pick and roll at the 4 position. Marquise Chris to shoot the 3, to play above the rim. Tyler Ulis to come in to score and assist and be a true point guard and run the team. I think this will be the best watched summer league team this summer in Vegas, so it's going to be fun to watch, but it's exciting.
Coach, it seems like they're putting a lot of stake in you to develop these guys. Youth movement is saying it lightly. What does that mean to you for them to trust you with the development of this franchise?
It means everything to our staff, because we know we can develop and we know we can do it the right way, most importantly, and we know our time frame is a little bit quicker than others, and we're okay with that. We embrace that pressure, so to speak. We love it because we know for us, good is the enemy of great, and we want to be great. So with us wanting to be great as a staff and as a program and for management, we also hold that bar up for the players as well.
Ryan, you said you brought it up this morning, how it might be possible to get both. Was that meant by just kind of like by your cohorts of the front office that it might be a pipe dream, or that it was it met with seriousness? Like, yeah, let's get this done.
Yeah, I think at first we said that we're not going to be able to do it. We just couldn't think of a realistic way to do it, given where we had those two guys rated on our draft board. But obviously every team's different. Teams rate guys at different levels. It was really hard, as you can imagine, to get a pick in the top 8. I mean, you look at last year, I don't think any lottery picks were traded, and we were trying to get in the mid-lottery. That's where we figured we had to get. And even then, we didn't know if that was good enough. So, when Marquise was there at 8, we made a discussion with Sacramento prior to that, but we went at them, really aggressively. There's obviously, I should have mentioned, it was tough for us to give up the draft rights to McDonough. He was a terrific player, a terrific guy. He is going to stay in Europe for another year. We wish him the best in Sacramento. That was tough for us because the picks are picks. We don't know them yet. They're hypothetical. They're conceptual. But over the last couple of years, we spent a lot of time with Bogdan. We got to know him. He won the EuroLeague Rising Star Award twice. He won a silver medal in the World Championships with Serbia. So we think he's going to be a terrific NBA player when he comes over. But once he told us he wasn't coming this year, obviously coming off a tough season and with a number of spots on our roster we're looking to fill, we tried to figure out how could we have somebody to help us more immediately. And with Dragan and Marquise, again, you usually don't find those kind of guys unless you're in the high to mid lottery. One of the picks was our own, and we had to figure out how to go get another one. And I'm glad we were able to do that.
Was it already both your reactions when you were able to get the other pick and you were able to get your two guys?
Yeah, I don't think it was the most professional. Probably, I think we probably yelled or
We heard that.
something. We were excited. I mean, we were excited. Those guys, we got them at 4 and 8. We had them, rated higher than 8, obviously. So we were excited because it was something that we came up with. The concept our group came up with. It was relatively late. We just started thinking about it this morning and trying to figure out if there's any way. So from thought to possibility to execution, happened in a pretty quick period of time.
Ryan, you talked about not bringing too many new young guys in because you already have a bunch of young guys.
Yeah, I lied.
Again. So I guess that wasn't as big a deal as you said it was.
No, well, it's it had to be the right guys. And we had 4 picks. I told you, I didn't think we'd do that. We weren't going to do that. After those first 2, we had some offers to trade the 34th pick, and we contemplated that as well. And after we got Bender at 4 and Chris at 8, we were happy. We were content. But then, Tyler Ulis at 34. We think, frankly, the only reason he's there is because of his size. I mean, he's again SEC Player of the Year, SEC Defensive Player of the Year. High character, high IQ. In some ways, I see a coach on the floor for a young guy. Just went into Kentucky with all these great players around them. Last year and this year, and just ran the show. He just ran it and controlled the game. So once he was there, that was too good to pass up. As you know, Bob, we had some injuries to the point guard slot last year, and that hurt us, and the lack of depth there. So we wanted to solidify that, and again, I probably said this before. I'll say it again. We had these 3 guys rated a lot higher. Well, I guess not that a lot higher, that'd be tough, but the other 2 guys rated a lot higher than where they got drafted, where we ended up taking them.
Ryan, with such a young group, how do you manage expectations moving forward? 2 18-year-olds especially, I guess.
Yeah, it's, I think, like Earl said, I think these guys might surprise some people. I think we'll sit up here and downplay what they can do to protect them and to be patient with them. But these guys have unique talents, unique abilities. Does that translate to winning NBA basketball games? I don't know. Historically, it doesn't when you're playing young players. But you saw what Coach Watson and his staff did last year with a very depleted, undermanned team. It's basically a skeleton team that we're running out there at the end of the year. And to finish 9 and 15 with that group, with no Eric Bledsoe, with no T.J. Warren, with a very limited Brandon Knight due to his injuries. After trading Marquise Morris, we added some guys, Alan Williams from China, John Jenkins with a waiver claim, Chase Budinger, the waiver claims are signed. So for him to put that together and field a competitive team that won, that gives us great confidence in what he can do talented roster. So we're excited to see that. He said I was being modest. I think he was modest because what he did last year was remarkable given the roster at the time, which was very depleted.
So you're saying I set the bar.
So with the team so young and with so many guys, I mean, 320 right now.
Yeah.
Does it feel like the summer of 2013 again, where you're really just setting yourselves up for potential success, but not really expecting to win 40-plus games? It'd be nice if you could, but what's your thought process now after having taken these two guys?
Yeah, our thought process is we always try to draft the guys who we think will have the best careers. And the two guys in the lottery are two of the youngest players in the draft. So historically, that does take some time. But it's something that we haven't, I guess, done to this level, Dave, since I've been here. As you mentioned, we made the moves in 2013, and a lot of people had low expectations for how good the team was going to be, and we surprised everybody in 148 games. So we're certainly not expecting that, and we're not trying to set that level of expectations. But for me, I think this is personally my 13th or 14th year in the NBA. That was the second most enjoyable NBA season I've had after the one in 2008 when we won the championship in Boston. Just because when expectations are so low and you pull a group together and there's some magic that happens, it's fun, right, to exceed expectations. So that'll be our goal. That'll be our model for next year. I think what Portland did this past season could serve as a good inspiration for us. Where a lot of people were picking them to finish 14th or 15th in the West. We'll see what happens with us in free agency. I imagine there'll be a lot of doubters given a record last year and whatever, the fact that we're a younger team, but we embrace that and we thrive on that. And coaches' ability to motivate and the young, high character players who are self-motivated and driven. We're excited to see what we can do.
Earl, you mentioned the summer league. Knowing what you had, do you kind of wish summer league started tomorrow? And having such a young team, does it make it that much more important?
I think a young team to me is just an opportunity to grow. It's a blank canvas. And Devin Booker is the ultimate pro for being our youngest player thus far until tonight. He set the bar for these young players to come in and also do the same. So that's great for us. Bledsoe, Knight, TJ, Alex, Tyson, who is probably looking at us right now saying, wow, this is going to be exciting, actually. Because we have players who can actually have an NBA skill right now that can bring together the details. So some of these are going to be exciting because you will see young guys compete at a high level, play at a high level, play unselfishly, and play the right way. And that carries over into the season.
Ryan, are you okay having two power forwards who are 18 years old, or would you like to see a little more age in that position as well?
I think we'll look to add potentially at least one more player there in free agency. As you know, Mirza Teletovic and John were both unrestricted free agents, and we like Mirza and John. Those guys had good years for us. We're not looking to go we're not trying to have the youngest team in the league, right? We're trying to have a team obviously that competes and wins as many games as we can win. How many that is, I don't know. We don't know. But we've got veterans like PJ Tucker, like a Tyson Chandler that we value. We obviously very talented mid-career players like Eric Bledsoe and Brandon Knight. And I'm going to sit here and list the whole roster, but if there's a guy or multiple guys we can add in free agency that we think will help us next year or the next couple of years, we'll do that.
One final question. Just for Coach, you got 5 guys from Kentucky and guard. How do you manage that? I mean, because they're all very talented, and they all have their skills, but how do you work with that?
Being a Bruin, I don't have any problems with that. I'm winning the drive. So, for me personally, it doesn't matter, but Kentucky's doing a great job of putting out really good talent. You can't deny it, and it just happened to fall that way, a lot of guards. So, the style of play, the way Cal has them playing, is really unique, and their advancement is pretty quick. So it's a credit to their program.
So with Devin Booker being named to the USA Select Team, I kind of didn't expect him to play in summer league. But do you think he's going to insist now that Tyler Ulis is going to be on the team?
Knowing Devin, Dave, he'll try to play. I mean, he's going to play. Whether we let him play or not. But I mean, he and Eric Bledsoe, been in the gym every day. Other guys as well on our roster. Alan Williams, again missing a few, but we have a good group of You know, 5, 6, 7 guys who are here in Phoenix for the most part, coming in just about every day. Yeah, so Devin's obviously a great honor for him. You know, to play with the USA Select team. You know, we're still trying to figure out what to do with him in summer league. He'll practice some, you know, with our team. He may play some with the team. We're still trying to figure that out. But obviously, you know, we want him to be as fresh as he can for the USA basketball select teams. That's a great honor. And you know, there's no better thing for Devin Booker's development than to play against the best players in the world. You know, he's come a long way, but I think this will be a great litmus test for him to see, you know, kind of where he is and how he stacks up with, you know, some of the best players in the NBA and the best players in the world.
To each of you, how important were your talks with Marquise just to get to know, because he's so new to basketball, to figure out his passion for the game, and then the emotional and mature stuff that he got tagged with during the season?
I don't know. I just feel like those type of guys, or any guy, actually, is easy for me to connect to. So it was important for me just to talk to him and talk about his personality, but most importantly, what he feels he needs to get better at as a person. He's really transparent. He's open, and he's a really good person. He's a really good young man with expectations of himself to be better. As you know, Coach Romar, who recruited me to UCLA, coached him. So Coach Romar, you know, phone calls with him here and there, and text me back and forth. He loved him. So for me, it was comfortable. When you see the things he can bring to the game, it's going to be the wow factor immediately. When you see how much better he can get and not really playing at a high level for so long, it's going to get you excited. But it's up to us to teach him, to be disciplined with him, and understand the program is the program. He has to come in, he has to work, and he understands being a professional.
Same question. Yeah. So Marquise is, you know, he's obviously relatively new to basketball. As I mentioned, he made tremendous progress throughout the course of the season. You know, if you watch his games early in the year, you know, they're not great. If you watch him in the middle of the year, you know, you see it's better to see some of the flashes. And then by the end of the year, there's that kind of that wow factor that Coach Watson was talking about, where you know, he's making a lot of really high level plays. You know, he's a smart kid. You know, interacting with him was pleasant. He asked good questions. You know, he was a football player, like I said, growing up. He's got that toughness to him. So, you know, I don't really see immature. I see inexperience, is my opinion.
Ryan, the driving vendor kind of became the annual international man of mystery in this draft. And the stigma that goes with that is if you take someone like that, it's because of the mystery and the intrigue and what he could be. But I don't think your front office is the kind of front office that makes that decision because of what you don't know. But there's a lot of research that goes behind it.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on Dragan over the past few years, not just the past year. Again, go back to the under-18 European Championships 2 summers ago. I believe they were in Konya, Turkey. Pat Conley, our assistant GM, and Miljo Kovacic, our international scouts, were there. And Dragan, I mean, if you guys go on YouTube or something and watch the videos, I mean, he did some incredible things there. Like, he was 6'10" at the time. He's 7'1" now. You know, playing like a point forward. I mean, honestly, he looked in some of those videos. He looked a lot like Tony Kukoc. So we scouted him there in the 2nd division. You know, in Israel last year, and then got bumped up to Maccabi. We constantly rotated our staff through Israel. I mean, he was no secret. You know, everybody knew he was going to be a lottery pick. But between Pat Conley, Miljo Kovacic, Courtney Whitty, I think those 4 guys in particular all rotated. And then I spent 4 or 5 days in Tel Aviv as well, and you know, watch Mender practice and shoot around and play. And we couldn't talk to him at the time because it was, you know, before the early entry list came out. But spent time with the general manager of Maccabi, Nikola Vujacic, who was a great European player, great Croatian player, who is Dragan's mentor, and I believe is coming to Phoenix with Dragan tomorrow. So you guys should get to see him and interact with him. But he's one of the best players, you know, in recent history, not to play in the NBA, one of the best European players. So, you know, we were very comfortable with him. We knew him very well. You know, obviously playing at Maccabi in the Israeli League, in the Euro Leagues, a high level of basketball. And, you know, we watched a ton of film on him as well. And then, you know, worked him out here in Phoenix last Saturday. You know, I think it's my 13th or 14th draft now since I've been, you know, in the NBA studying it closely. He's a unique player and a unique talent, just with the size and length and skill. Again, Marquise Chris is also unique. You know, I really haven't seen too many guys who can do some of the things that those two guys can do in my